Hello, everyone. This is Steven, also known as Granny Salem, the executive producer at KRWBY Productions. Unfortunately, I bring some bad news in regards to the project, and it will be shutting down. To explain why, because there's a lot of reasons as to why that is happening. There are a couple more people here with me. Katie, if you want to introduce yourself, and Brian.
Hi, my name is Katie Johnson. I am also, or I was one of the producers here at KRWBY. I was a voice actress, I was a writer, I was a director, podcaster. I've done a lot here on the project, and I was also part of the process of, or I was rather one of the people that helped with our decision to bring the project to a close. And we really wanted to have a conversation with you guys, our fans who have been here since the beginning. I'm one of the original members when Lexi first started the project when we were in college together. And we just really wanted to get personal with you guys and kind of lay out all the reasons for you. And we also have one more person here that's going to help us do that too. Brian, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Yeah, hi everybody. My name's Brian, also known as Niptune on the channel, and you guys might know me as the voice of Neptune in Ruby Abridged, as well as the host of the KRWBY Talk podcast. And I was also the one of the department leads. I was the head of the audio department at KRWBY. And yeah, the reason I'm here, despite not being a producer, is that ever since the producer system was first established, I have kind of been a close advisor to all of the producers that have come and gone over the history of the channel, and have been involved in pretty much all of the major decisions that have happened. And this was kind of the last big major decision that I was very heavily involved with, was the decision to shut down the channel. And yeah, as Katie said, just here to just try to explain to you guys why this decision was made, because it was a big decision and it wasn't a decision that we made easily.
No.
So yeah, we just kind of, we want to be honest with you. We want to be real with you and talk to you about why this is happening.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, I guess we can just jump right into it. I guess I'll say one of the first points is KRWBY was a very complex system. We were kind of an unprecedented situation when we formed, and we accrued so many people that it got to a point where it was, difficult to manage, sustain, really. It wasn't quite sustainable. And we didn't want to, keep watering it down and create a situation where the KRWBY that you know and love just fades away, or it just completely declines in quality and in the love that, originally formed it. And that's just one piece of the puzzle. If one of you guys want to jump in on one of the others.
Yeah, I mean, jumping onto KRWBY being complex, I mean, I was one of the key people involved in kind of figuring out how to make this complex system work,
Mm-hmm.
and kind of organize all the production aspects and stuff. And I mean, it was a very intense system with a bunch of different departments, and a bunch of people working together simultaneously on all kinds of different stuff, and it was a very high level and kind of difficult task to maintain for a fan project.
Mm-hmm.
We were organized in a way and doing work in a way that you normally really only see being done at professional production houses, right? And when you're in a fan project that's completely volunteer based, where nobody's getting paid,
Yes.
that's that's very, very hard to sustain. But because of the number of people that we had, that was really the only way we could do it.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so that's kind of the reason behind the complexity. And naturally over time, things kind of started to break down, because it was a lot of work, and
A lot of
people,
stress.
yeah, and people are now moving on. There was there was definitely over time, I think, a decline in passion, people are moving on to the next stages of their lives. You know, people are not able to put as much time into the project as they once were. You know, as people have jobs, people are graduating from college and are moving into the workforce, trying to pursue careers, pursuing other opportunities that are paid, you know, which makes sense.
KRWBY has created a lot of opportunities for the people here. And one thing we also wanted to touch on was it would feel disrespectful and disingenuous to keep passing the torch, as I'm sure Stephen could attest to. We've passed the torch a few times and it landed in his hand, and this decision falling on him, if you kind of want to talk about some of those, Stephen.
Yeah, it's definitely not something that was easy. Having been here since 2018, April 2018, I've seen the group go big, get big, and go huge places, and been places with them, and then all of a sudden COVID hits, and then everyone's also it happened at the same time. Everyone was graduating and moving on, trying to pursue different things, and just overall finding out new things and just trying new projects, and that kind of all accumulated together to a steady decline, as we've said. And it's just at this point, it's something I think that we should. I felt that we should end it there, because that way we can end it on a high note versus something like a low note on like a bad release, or like bitterness between some people or something. Who knows, you know?
Yeah.
Because we've always been really close, all of us. So we wanted to end this on a high note where we all agree that, you know, what we have, what we've made is wonderful, and we don't want to see something accidentally change that.
Yeah, because the last thing we'd want is for KRWBY to just be kind of a shell of its former self, because the more we pass the torch to the next producer, the next director, the more we were kind of losing KRWBY's vision, the more muddied and watered things would get as we try to make new departments. And if we kept going, if we truly tried to keep going, without it being sustainable, we would have to cut people from the project, people that have loved and helped build this project from what it started as. And we don't want to do that.
Yeah, that was definitely one of the biggest decisions behind shutting the project down, was that if we were to continue the project, we would have to downsize dramatically, as Katie said. We would have to cut entire departments out. We would have to cancel content.
Yeah,
you know, there was a huge number of people that would have been and content that would have been on the chopping block just to be able to continue going. Yeah. I mean, it basically we would have had to cut it down to almost nothing but the abridged.
Yeah, and that's just not. You know, the people that have been here since KRWBY started, all the places that it's gone with all the different people that have been in charge, we've done more than we ever thought we possibly could. And so we wanted to end on a note that felt like it was respecting everyone involved. And that's why we also know that you probably are wondering, well, what's going to happen to the channel? What's going to, you know, come of all of what we've done? And we do have those answers for you too. If Stephen, if you'd like to start us off.
Yeah, absolutely.
With some of those.
So the big thing is the YouTube channel. That is not going anywhere. That's going to stay. All the content that's currently on there is staying. Yes. It will be demonetized so that we're not making any revenue from it. Anything that is currently unlisted or private will be made public. I think there's only a handful of videos that even are, but nonetheless, we'll do that. And this includes streams. Streams will stay there. We'll organize it a little bit, so we'll put the streams in one folder, and then everything else will stay in their own respective folders. So you guys can keep spreading it.
You mean the KRWBY Talk playlist is finally going to get updated after like a year?
Yeah, exactly. The second biggest thing is the Patreon, of course.
Yeah.
So that, as soon as this video is posted, is going to be shut down. So that way we don't take any more money from anyone. But more importantly, that money is not going to be paid out to anyone. We are going to instead donate every cent, every single dollar, to Extra Life, because that has been a charity that we have been close to ever since we started with doing Extra Life in 2018. That's where all the money's going. No one's going to get paid. I'm not getting paid, you know, because this was volunteer to begin with, and that's how it's going to end.
Yep. And of course, with the Patreon being shut down, that also means that the Patreon specific Discord server is going to be deleted as well.
Yes. So, however, we do have a fan server, as you are aware, and we do plan on keeping that open.
Yeah, that's going to stay around.
We want to kind of create a Ruby community, or maintain kind of the community we've built here, a place where you can all remember the good of KRWBY, but also just of the Ruby fandom, a place where people have kind of built a nest and want to, still explore and interact with the friends that they've made here, and we don't want to take that away. So
and that's going to be that's going to be maintained by our lovely voice of Ruby, Tina.
Yes, Tina, and it'll be passed on to her to kind of. Its intent is more just to have a community there, whatever happens, as long as it's about Ruby and love, and if you want to have some fun KRWBY memories there too, you can do that too. And one thing we kind of want to do, we're not going to set a date yet, but if you're in the server, keep an eye out. We're going to be hosting a big party where we can all come together and celebrate KRWBY as kind of a final send-off with all of our fans that want to join.
Yeah.
We might do script reads, we might do silly things, but we want to give you like a proper, little homely send-out. So if you're in the Discord server, if you're not, we should have a link to it. So you
in the
can
description.
Yep.
Yeah, in the description. So you can go and have one last hurrah with us, and don't worry, it's probably going to be a little bit before the event is.
Yeah.
So,
It'll
so
be
you've
in the
got
near
future,
time.
but
because we want to
soon.
Yeah, we want to try to make sure that we have as many people there
that
as
can
possible.
come.
You
Yeah.
know.
Dedicate the proper amount of time to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we want to make sure that all of our very important people can come back for it. So
Yeah. And it feels so rough to say goodbye, but I mean, here we are. We've come so far, and Steven,
been a big ass ride.
Yeah,
me and you, we were the final producers here, and we, did our best. Everyone did their best. All of the producers and directors that worked on this project worked so hard to make it what it was and to keep it going. And we also want to really, really thank the crew and the community and everyone that's come together to support us over the years, and know that we would not be anywhere near what we are without you. Everyone that came to conventions, everyone that came to our panels, and everyone that supported us online in the Discord server, in the comments that we read. Thank you.
And to the crew, I mean, just there are no words to describe what the crew has managed to do and what the crew means to I think all of us who were in these kind of more administrative positions, right? I mean, there was literally a period of time where we were cranking out a VR short a month.
Yeah.
Like everybody
was rough.
It was rough, but everybody worked so hard and everybody was so passionate, and
it was rough, but we loved it.
Everybody gave their all. Everybody gave 110%. And that just there are no words. There are no words. So huge thank you to the crew.
None of this would have been possible with anyone. Without anyone.
Yeah, and like you said, Katie, to everybody who came and supported us at cons or left comments, or I mean that just meant the world, right? Because
we read pretty much all of them.
Yeah, I mean we would spend so much time.
We would scour.
You spend so much time, especially as a production person. You spend so much time working on these videos and spending late nights and really just busting your ass, and when it finally comes out and you see how many people are enjoying it, and and the comments that say, oh, this made my day, or oh, I was having a really bad day and this turned it around for me, it kind of makes all of that effort worth it. So definitely would not be where we are, could not have done nearly as much without your guys' support. So huge thank you.
Heck, we wouldn't have had the motivation to do a lot of things if it weren't for everyone involved, whether it's the crew or the people watching us. or just talking to us. Like the motivation alone has been honestly quite necessary for the majority of the project. You know, just getting things done. You know, if it wasn't for the sake of getting it done, it was for waiting for the reactions of the people to watch them.
And we all pushed each other to be better. We would all brainstorm ways to be better, and the moments that we as the crew, as the actors, as the writers, as the editors, engineers, everyone, when we got together, that energy, that light that we felt, like, that's something that's hard to find. And we found this lightning in a bottle, and we ran with it. And, you know, everything has to come to an end, but I'm glad that we can go out together.
Yeah.
We did kind of want to end this video on a high note, too, if you'd like to introduce what we've got right after this, Stephen.
Yeah, if you guys want to stick around, we have a big old conversation between all the previous directors and owners of the project, just, you know, reminiscing on KRWBY, like what's meant for them, what it was like
to run it.
Yeah, the craziness, but the fun times as well, you know, just how it's impacted our lives, how it's left an impression that is honestly not going to go anywhere anytime soon for any of us. It's about an hour, so if you got an hour,
have a little podcast listen to our stroll down memory lane roundtable. Well, thank you guys so much, and I guess I'll see you in a few seconds.
Yeah, it's been one hell of a ride, everyone. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Honestly, thank you. Welcome to this. I guess it's just kind of like a meeting of the minds. Really. So I guess we'll go around the table.
Built is such a strong word.
True.
Ramshackled with silly string, duct tape, and a couple staples we found stuck in bubble gum.
The staples were
right.
The staples sound a little too
man. Yeah, a little too bougie.
Yeah.
I didn't even have duct tape, so we just used,
we just used spit and straw.
Greens and sweaters.
We found what we had on hand. That is spit and straw we found in the hayfields.
Who are you, Stephen?
I am Stephen. I am Stephen.
Hi, Stephen.
Hi, everybody.
Hi,
I am Stephen. I am the current and last owner of KRWBY Productions.
That's right.
That's
right.
Yeah.
You're beautiful.
No,
yep.
you.
Hi, everybody. I'm Katie. I am one of the, I guess, last round of producers at KRWBY Productions as well. I have done a lot over the years with KRWBY. I was a voice actress as Weiss Schnee, Penny Peladonut, Cinderfall, and Velvet the Chocolate Rabbit. I was a writer for some VR shorts. I hosted a podcast with Bo called Perpetually Ajar, and then I somehow worked my way up into tricking people into thinking I knew what I was doing, and then I behind the scenes things, and don't tell anybody, but like it got real silly real quick.
Real silly real quick.
All I did was make jokes, and Steven is such a badass, and all these people are badasses that came before me, and they should introduce themselves.
I am Tina. I am a potato.
Hi, I'm Tina. I was another previous exec before Steven, but after Alexis, I was second in the great history of KRWBY. I voiced Ruby and Emerald for the abridged and the various content we did, and I kind of helped coordinate things here and there. I spent a lot of time with the VR shorts folks while everyone was working magic just about everywhere else in the project. So it had to do with 3D aspects or the VR shorts. I was there helping Bo tackle a lot of that, but it was a lot of fun.
All right, I guess that means I'm Levi. I'm one of the other predecessor producers involved in the project there. I definitely did a bit of voice acting, but I definitely did a whole lot more writing and planning and such. I definitely had most of the duct tape we used to keep this thing together. Some of that silly string in there. Let's see what else can I say. Joke writer extraordinaire, script doctor, and just all-around fun guy to hang out with on a phone call.
Also Lyran.
Lyran.
Also Lyran.
And Lyran. That's kind of important. Kind of important.
Yeah. You played Lyran.
And Mercury.
Oh, yeah, Mercury.
I said I did a little bit of voice acting.
Yeah, I wanted to, send out your characters. You played them for a while.
Right, yes. I played Lyren, Scooter, and Mercury.
Scooter!
Oh my god.
Scatter.
Okay, can we just go ahead and drop down the MVP award for voice actor to Scooter? Okay.
I agree. Of all the KRWBY moments,
That is my
I think
favorite.
Scooter, yeah. And I got to be in a scene with the Scooter. I felt so privileged.
Oh man. Nothing's better than
Great note on this here is that Brian, when he got involved with the sound editing and whatnot, I heard that he thought I was not a great voice actor, and given the fact that he had only heard my Lyren, I can see why he would think that. And then somehow or another, he came across the Scooter lines. I'm like, who the hell did Scooter in the show? It's Levi. What the fuck?
Burn.
you are talented as heck.
Oh well, thanks.
And we have one other person, kind of the most important person in the history of ever in this call, the founder of breathing, Steven. No.
What? No. This really do not be facts, though.
Do you want to introduce yourself, Alexis?
Yeah. So I'm Alexis Fandom officially now. Thank you, Travis County Court. And I was the founder of KRWBY Productions, led the team for 3 years. I was the director of Ruby Abridged for all that team. I was also, the head writer for it, as well as the video editor. For Ruby Abridged, I did everything Ruby Abridged, basically. Voiced Ozpin, Roman, and Ublek for the Abridged, as well as, the VR shorts and stuff like that.
Gosh, what a powerhouse.
Yeah. We got the dream team right here.
Man, it's so interesting.
I can read
it feels like, what is it in anime? Like when you assemble like the big five, like they all come.
Avengers assemble.
Yeah, like they had to like assemble them. Like, you guys, it's time. We have to.
Young Midoriya.
Like we all come from all over the world.
In writer's terms, that would be called the third act, and it's where all the shit happens.
Real talk though, one of my absolute favorite moments, and it's gonna stick with me, I think, for the rest of my life, was Levi. It was the first time I did a con with KRWBY, and we were in the car, and you had me crying at some random gas station about your story about Monty with the show meant to you and how it impacted you. I'm like tearing up talking about it. And it was just like, it's always stuck with me. And anytime I think of you, I think of that exact moment. And it's forever going to be ingrained in my brain, and like the best possible way. And it's like, anytime I struggle with that kind of, direction or inspiration, I really go back to that point a lot. And it's just, it hits.
And just like that, it's time to get deep.
Yeah. And you guys won't even know the story unless Levi wants to share it. But it was a really wonderful story on what Ruby means to him and the impact it made in his life. And it was just beautiful.
I mean, I can recap it if you want.
By all means.
Who's cutting onions?
I'm going to try to do it in under 2 minutes because it is a long story. Remember, it took most of the car ride home. Let's see. In the beginning, there was a nerd. I was into photography and stuff, and I did okay. I was doing all right. I met some people who were way better than me, and it like kind of messed with my head. And I was like, man, I'm never going to be that good. And I strived and I pushed. It's been years. I'm still nowhere near their level. Like, it's a problem. Anyway, it depressed me for quite a long time, like probably the next year or so. And I didn't pick up pictures for a long time. It really, really got to me. And during that time, I had become a very big fan of Ruby. The actual show itself, no parody, the original. It was just enamored with the writing and the quality of it. There were so many good hits about it. And then the impossible happened. This guy who we thought was immortal, who was just the absolute rock star to art and animation and writing and voice acting, passed away at 33. It still seems impossible. Like, that's a sentence that doesn't make logical sense. How does that happen? But it did. And it affected me and about 5,000 other people, I'm told. And we all woke up every day with the same concept of realizing we now live in a world where Monty Ohm is never going to make something new. He had projects that were still going on, but one day those are going to run dry, and that's the end of that. And it bothered me every day, every night. And I just needed to somehow compensate for that. Not that I was very good or could do much, but thought, hey, you know what, if I can do 1% better than I was the day before, maybe Maybe if we all do 1% a little bit better and try a little harder to make something great in this world, maybe it could possibly make up for the absence that is Monty Ohm. And for the first time in almost a year, I picked up my camera and I started taking pictures, and I made goals in my life. And again, the pictures were okay, but I wanted to be a voice actor, not because I thought it was amazing or impressive, but something I've always been passionate about. And I got into this project for RWBY and whatnot, and I was super blessed to play the role of Lai Ren, even though I think I still need work and stuff. Everybody seemed to like it. And so the fact that I actually got to do a little bit of justice for a guy I'll never get to meet, really touches me. It really moves me. And I try to think of it like this. I'd rather live in a world where we are being emphatically and passionate about making art instead of making war or strife. And I truly believe if everybody woke up and said, I want to make something beautiful today, war would cease. Now, is that a very optimistic and naive point of view? Sure, I will absolutely admit to the flawed nature of it. But it is something I will defend with my dying breath if I have to.
Absolutely, and thank you for sharing.
Yeah, definitely.
I was crying like a baby because
Aw.
we got into the early part of that story and the Monty impact, and I obviously had a much longer rendition and a very detailed. It hit me. It hit me on. It's so wonderful. But I think RWBY in a different way did that for me. I came into liking the show much after Monty had passed, but it has impacted my life in ways I can't even measure. And I have a similar mentality. I'm going to wake up each day and do even just a little bit better than the day before or the week before, set goals and try to take those strides forward. And it's literally a conversation that I just carry with me through my life, whether I'm thinking about it daily or not. It's always that ideology to wake up, do 1% better, make something beautiful, and let's spread love.
It is so interesting to think that this, ragtag team of people found each other, and not just Rooster Teeth, but to kind of bring it back to KRWBY. I'm one of the, I guess you could say, original members of KRWBY. Lexi, when you came to me and said, hey, I'm making this silly thing, you want to be in it? I was like, sure. And I didn't think it would go anywhere, but I loved the idea of, I loved a bridge series, and I loved talking to you about RWBY because I got into RWBY a little later too, but so I wasn't like a big Rooster Teeth fan per se, but I loved animation, all that stuff. And so I think it was Levi that actually pushed me over the edge to really fully watch it.
It was me, yeah.
Yeah. And then I think it was, when Lexi came to me just one day, I was sitting outside of class. I'll never forget this day. And was just like, hey, I'm making a silly thing. You want to be in it? And I was like, cool, let's do it. And I didn't think I'd hear anything. But then you actually did it, and I recorded my lines. And I remember we were sitting in class, and you had the YouTube channel pulled up, and you were just watching the numbers on this silly preview video go up and go up. And I was like, whoa, people care about this thing that we were just dicking around and doing, and what? And then, I guess here we are years later. But I think one of the impacts that RWBY, but also KRWBY, had on me was, I guess, kind of to tie it back to what you guys were talking about, was the conversations and the people. And that's what, acting has always been about, stories and getting to collaborate with people that know more than me and that want to share experiences and truly live empathetically, and also through the eyes of characters that maybe we'll never be or understand, but that we can find a piece of ourselves in. And I found a piece of myself at KRWBY that I didn't know I had. There was so long that I just looked at it as kind of this fun, silly thing we do, but it was those moments we'd go to the cons, or those moments where we would just be laughing, or I'd be crying in a hotel room, or excited about the prospect of hosting a panel, where it felt like we were really a team doing something and seeing how much it mattered to people that we were having fun, that really made KRWBY something I'll never forget. And I'm gonna, keep moving forward with my life and my career, and I've never really stopped chasing, the different dreams and aspirations I have. But I think KRWBY has been a stepping stone for so many creators in the RWBY community, and just in the art community too. And the fact that it could create opportunities for people to feel like they could express themselves, and that maybe they could network or learn something they didn't know or have a way to show this passion that they had. I think KRWBY is going to be remembered for a lot of different things, but I do hope and I do think that the main thing KRWBY will be remembered for is the love that it represented. And that's what I'm going to always hold. And so even though it's, it's time to say goodbye, I'm glad that we get to say goodbye and that it didn't just fizzle out or that it didn't just, like fall to the wayside and people just throw it away. Like, I think there's a respect to be had to truly be able to look at something and say, hey, I acknowledge and respect what you brought like to my life. And the fact that we get to say farewell together is what's important. And thank you guys for being on this journey with me. And I guess I'll pass the invisible mic off to someone else now, but I just wanted to say that.
I did want to slip in really quick and be candid about it. There were goods, there were bads. I think all of us grew as people on this project. All of us made mistakes at some point. I know I have learned a lot from the project and things I could have done better at points, things that I feel like maybe I didn't dedicate enough to, and maybe some things where I felt like I put too much of myself into, and it ended up leading to me getting burnt out at points. And because really we're all kind of at a point, we love this project, we loved what we did, but we all have lives, we all have careers and ambitions and dreams and goals. And even when I started college, I said it as soon as I started, I'm like, this is going to be a stepping stone. There's going to come a point when I'm going to have to, my path's going to diverge from it, and I will have to focus on my schooling and my other work and my other projects. And that point I think has come for a lot of us, and we want to, like you said, we want it to go out on a happy note, on a high note. We want to walk away from it going, cool. Like this had its time. It served a purpose in our life. It was a stepping stone. And there were so many cool things that have happened along the way. But I think that the friendships and kind of how we were pioneering things, just having a blast is just never going to be forgotten. But the biggest thing for me is, much like you said, Katie, I like those kind of convention moments where we saw like, wow, we got to kind of have this tangible, this is impacting people. And it was just such a game changer to me.
Yeah, absolutely. And, it's kind of crazy. So, there's probably a lot of people out there who have never heard the story of how KRWBY first started. But the long story short is what happened was myself and several other Ruby cosplayers were completely separately. Most of us didn't even know who each other were. We were all attending Comic-Con in Birmingham in 2017. And then, I ended up stumbling across Michaela and Zane. Zane was going to be Roman Torchwick, didn't end up working out that way. And then Michaela was the original Ruby and Yang. And she was dressed in a Ruby cosplay. Zane was dressed in a Roman Torchwick cosplay. And they were just doing this improv ad-lib back and forth. And they had a crowd around them because people were just loving Michaela's Ruby impression. And Zane was being really funny too. He was doing a good Roman impression. And I was dressed as Ozpin. And I ended up just kind of stepping in. I was like, hey, you know what? I'm dressed as a Ruby character. Why not? So and I took a step forward into that circle there and just started being the biggest smartass possible and a really horrible Ozpin impression. And people got a kick out of it. And so then me and Michaela and Zane started walking around together. And within a very short amount of time, we went from 3 cosplayers all the way up to like 10 or 11. And there was no repeats, except there were 2 Rubies. There was Sarah and there was Michaela. Everybody else was somebody different. I thought that was really, really cool. And because that's pretty rare, Yeah. We had a sun, we had Sun, Jean, Neptune. I like to say Jonathan was Sun, Evan was Jean, Zoe was Nora, and Gary was Neptune. I don't remember everybody else, to be honest. Like what they were dressed as that particular day. I'd like to say Shelby was Weiss, maybe. I'm not sure. But anyway, it was a really, really cool thing. We're all just kind of walking around together in this big old pack. And we ended up, going out to dinners together and stuff like that. And then, we noticed that we were all dressed in different cosplays, essentially. And Michaela joked that we could make a live action Ruby Abridged. And that just kind of set off this alarm bell in my head, thinking, wait a minute, I've been a fan of Hellsing Abridged and SAO Abridged and things like this for so long. And I've been enamored with those kinds of things. And I've been looking for something to get involved in, to start networking, to start actually making something tangible. And I just never let the subject go. I just kept bringing it up over and over again because I'm thinking, okay, if I keep bringing it up, maybe we'll get a real good conversation going about it. And eventually it happened. And, we all got into a messenger group, and we, just started really talking about it. I can't remember who said it, but somebody said, "Oh, are we actually doing this?" And I'm like, "Yeah, we're doing this." And so we ended up about a month later, not even a month later, we were recording lines for the promo. And we were recording in my dorm room and this horrible excuse for a sound booth at the University of Montevallo, with a beat up old snowball that we had that I gotten from the equipment closet in the mass communication building, and just recording the original lines for the promo and then the episode, stuff like that. And it was really crazy just watching it all actually come together for the first time. And we kept going with it. Ended up getting shirts printed for Team KRWBY, and then went to RTX 2017, and we met our first super fan, Steampunk J is what he went by. And he was a really super cool guy. He wanted our autographs and all these other things. It was crazy because at the time we only had like 100 something subs. And we spent a lot of the con with him. He was a really cool guy. And it really, all of those experiences in those first several months just kind of brought it all into focus for me. What was going on, and what was possibly going to come of all of it. And so, ended up having a schism in the original team, unfortunately, over some creative differences. And the original team, a lot of the original team ended up splitting off. And then, me and a couple other people, we ended up putting a new crop of recruits together.
And then you pulled me from the abyss of the internet.
Yeah, I think I recommended Levi, and then JD.
JD was recommended. I think it was Katie that recommended JD.
Yeah, because me and JD had done stuff in Film Club together.
Yep. And then JD recommended Kelly. She became part of the team for a little bit, but she didn't end up, unfortunately, didn't end up voicing any characters or anything.
Sadly, she's a talent.
Yeah.
I got fished off the dark web, and then I brought in the 3D folks.
It was
I'm like,
hilarious
Steven,
too.
Hey, Bo, let's go.
It's pretty hilarious though,
just a guy
because
on the
part of
internet.
rebuilding the team was also recasting Jean, and it was really dang funny because I had heard Cole's Jean impression on the Miraculous Corazon channel many times, and I thought to myself, I was like, man, that would be a dream, but this channel's 100-something thousand subs or whatever it was at that point. It was way out of reach. And I thought it'd be cool if that happened, but that's like a dream thing, And so
I'm pretty sure you had a lot less subs.
Yeah, we did. I think we had like 1,000 maybe.
I think you had about 1,500, I remember.
But
Something
then,
like
Cole is just like the coolest, most down-to-earth dude. And
my favorite KRWBY memory ever is meeting Cole.
Well, see, what happened is that I ended up casting Star for Yang. And then she's, I said, I was looking for a person who could do a good Jean as well. I didn't really like the auditions that we got, to be honest. And she said, give me a second. So she goes and pulls Cole into the call. I'm thinking, okay, cool. I didn't recognize his name for some reason. It just didn't click. And then he said, oh yeah, I also do these voices on a comic dub channel. I said, oh yeah, what comic dub channel? Miraculous Corazon. I was like, wait. Hold up.
Done.
What?
Now, I have to pause here. That series of events is basically how the last 3 years has gone. Just that on repeat with different names and bigger amounts of
Yeah,
importance.
pretty much.
It's kind of
carry on.
true. We just grabbing people.
Yeah, and things kept growing. We ended up going to Comic-Con again as panelists the next year in 2018, and met Cole for the first time there, and Star. And Star and Cole, oh my God, them at that panel was hilarious. They were just dying laughing the whole time.
Well, I wasn't helping at all.
No.
I feel like every panel with any voice actors always turns into the best kind of hilarious shit show, like in the good kind of way. I don't know if there's a good kind of shit show, but I always loved it, and it was always like
my favorite memory.
Off each other so well.
My favorite panel memory, and I will die with this being my favorite panel memory, and I don't even care. There were only 10 people in the audience for our 7 a.m. Anime Week in Atlanta.
Oh my God.
The 18+ fan fiction panel that I hosted, and it was the best panel ever, and I picked out all the fanfic, and you guys read it.
I was dumb and didn't. I was dumb and didn't read through it before we got up there, and I was just sitting there beat-faced the whole.
There's no recorded proof, and it is my favorite memory.
I think one of the funniest parts is I was so adamant. I'm like, no, I'm not gonna read. And then I don't even remember. It was like a Weiss Crow I was narrating or something like that.
Yeah, you like.
And I was like,
I have to do this.
Yeah, Ruby reading very questionable content.
I think it was a Winter Crow, maybe, because Bo.
Yeah.
What did I say? Yeah,
Bo, you like a moan for us, and Bo went
What was so, we ended up premiering episode 5 at that panel, and that was really fun, and it kind of brought everything into perspective for Cole as well. I know he's not here to talk about it, but that was one of the things that got him to be really, really serious about KRWBY, and it was really cool to watch that happen. And, as time goes on, we have more panels. Tina comes in and ends up yanking in the other half of the team in the 3D VR side. We start doing VR shorts and stuff like that. But, the thing is, one of my favorite parts about KRWBY was the effect not only that it had on our professional lives, which was,
somehow profoundly huge.
Had a profound effect on our professional lives, especially going to RTX that last time. But the personal stuff too, at least for me, I think was one of the most touching. We had a couple in the original team get together, which I thought was really awesome.
Yeah,
we had,
I did the dinner with you. I think was that Comic-Con?
I don't remember.
I think it was Comic-Con. We went out and had dinner at that steakhouse next door to the con center.
Yeah. But it's just really cool because it's like, we had a couple get together on the original team, which I thought was amazing. And then, by extension, myself and Michael. That was, caused in part by KRWBY because, that's how he found out who I was. And that was really amazing. And then, personally, one of my favorite memories was when we were at Magic City and I told Tina I was gender fluid. I thought that was really, really cool. It was a great conversation. We were just on the staircase in the hotel, and it was really, it was really special. And ended up coming out to everybody there that day. Obviously I'm, full on transgender, binary transgender at this point, but even so, it was just a really touching moment. We had a lot of really touching moments like that where we really just got together, had very great conversations and things like that just brought us much closer. And of course, we had the effects on the professional lives too. I mean, I don't know how big of a factor KRWBY played in Cole changing careers, but I mean,
I'd like to think it was pretty substantial.
Pretty significant role, I would think.
From lawyer to...
He was going to be a lawyer. Yeah,
he was going to be from lawyer to motherfucking goddamn sound boil. Like, that's a big jump.
Yeah. For me personally, because of Rooster Teeth, Ruby, and KRWBY, and getting to do what we were doing with the VR shorts, I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I wanna go animate. That was my dream, and I was living vicariously through KRWBY, getting to kind of do pseudo animation and do what we were doing with VR, and that changed my whole path. And now I'm halfway through my degree. There's been some cool opportunities even along the way, and it's just I couldn't be happier.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
And
Stepping
I
stone, man.
have definitely made lifelong friends through this team as well.
Mhm.
And again,
Same.
I mean, the effect it had on my professional life was pretty noticeable too. Maybe not as much as some people's, but I was always going into entertainment anyway. But it kind of solidified my path to becoming a voice actress. Because KRWBY's the thing that's carried me from the random person doing voice impressions in the car on the way to work to, doing the voices for YouTube videos, then getting a professional grade set up and all those other things. And now looking to get a demo reel recorded. And honestly, it's just been amazing. This entire ride. And we had the good, we had the bad, like Tina said. It was a bumpy road sometimes, but at the end of the day, it had a very profound impact on a lot of our lives. And that's the part of KRWBY I think I'll never forget.
Yeah, and really quick to add in too, I think tying in with the career growth and direction, I think most all of us in this call, if not all of us, actually upgraded our equipment because of things we were doing on the project.
Unfortunately.
Whether it was bumping up to try to meet some standards that we wanted to try to raise the bar on, or if it was just going, you know what, I want to take the dive. I definitely cried, and I know you did too, Alexis, and I think Katie, you did as well. Going, I'm going to shell out for the Neumann or a mic that's going to meet that industry standard because this is what I really want to do.
Me over here crying.
I love voice acting. I love it.
Me over here crying with an AT 2020.
But you know what? That's not. I mean, you upgraded.
Yeah, I did
you've
upgrade.
upgraded from what you had before. Because I think didn't you have like a crappy $50 plug-in?
Yeah, I had a NT. It had a Rode NT USB.
And I mean, not to say that there's anything wrong with those mics, but you're like, I'm going to upgrade and improve my gear, my equipment.
Even if it does make Brian cringe because I have a Behringer interface.
I was up in there with that badass $90 Blue Yeti,
Hell yeah, bro.
The entire first season was Snowball and Blue Yeti for me.
When I auditioned, I had a Yeti. I still have my original Yeti, and it was ass. I still don't know how I got cast, but I'm gonna take it.
God.
I'm gonna take it.
That just tells you how everyone else
hella
did.
incredible. What do you mean?
I mean, I was not good by any feat. Like my early Ruby, I remember having a conversation with Brian that he was like, Tina, I love you. And I say this with the most love that I can, but I have no idea why you were cast because this audition was awful. I said, I know, right? It was awful. It was I can't even be upset about it because he's right. It was so bad. But
I feel the same way about mine.
You're so talented, Levi. Like you genuinely are such like a talented being and a well of knowledge that like I always enjoy when I get to talk to you. And it's been so long since we really talked. So I think I need to change that in my life, and I need to bug you and check on you more.
Oh yeah, I almost forgot the marriage proposal at one of our. I almost forgot the marriage proposal at one of our panels too.
Yeah,
that
we
was
did
really
get
cool.
Someone proposed at one of our panels, and I remember when they brought that up, I kept saying, "Are you sure? We are KRWBY, not we aren't Rooster Teeth. Are you sure?" And they were like, "No, yeah, def," and that was a great time. But
that kills me. Like people talk to us like we're really famous, and I'm like, guys, if we were any less famous, we would be janitors at some place. That's how famous we are.
At the nearest high school.
Oh my god! I want to pass the baton to Steven, but I guess I'll throw one last on Levi's note about fame. I did get one person in my entire KRWBY career that asked for my autograph, and it was at the 2018 KRWBY panel that we did at Comic-Con. Right afterwards, someone came up to me and said, "Hey, can I have your autograph?" And I was like, "Why?" And they were like,
I remember that.
Right. And somebody was like, "Because like I think this thing's gonna be big, and like I think you guys are gonna be," and like I guess they were right. It was kind of cool and weird and surreal, and I was like, okay. And I signed something for them, and whoever you are,
you are now making $1 million.
I really quick to slip in on the same note of that. There was this wonderful woman named Jeanette who I met at one of the conventions. It was, I don't remember which one. It was a really small one. And she was a huge fan of Ruby Abridged, and she was just enamored with my Ruby. And she's like, "Oh my gosh, can you please record this? Say this as Ruby or whatnot?" And I was like, "Oh, you want me?" but I'm just she's like, yes, you. And then can you sign this? I'm like, oh. And then I was like, I like you. Come hang out. And we ended up friending each other and talking and staying in touch briefly after that. It is. It's like, do you not understand? I promise you, I poop like everyone else. Like, I have to put my own pants on. I'm not cool. Right. And I think something that this project gave to a lot of us that maybe we struggled with it ourselves, because I feel like this is a common thread in just how artists are in general. Is I felt like it gave me worth. It made me feel like, oh man, I'm making an impact. This is making a difference for people. Yeah. And I always said, like, even if it just impacts one person, then it was all worth it. Yep. And this project countless times kind of gave me that renewal of like, cool, I'm making an impact on someone's life. I'm bringing a smile and a joy to them. And it's something that always helped me. It helped me go up and go, okay, we're going to have a 12-hour film day with VR, or I have to do all these things, or even the moments when things were stressful. I think it helped bring us all back together, and we were all fighting for that common ideology of just making that impact, making that difference. Yeah. And trying to just get somewhere with our lives and keep on going the best way we could.
Yeah, and one thing, just want to add on. I forget your name and your username. I'm having a total brain fart, but there was an epic fan who forged a dagger for me in his barbecue pit, and then turned around and forged a sword for Tina. If you're listening, she still hasn't gotten the sword because the pandemic kind of screwed everything up. But
I'll get it eventually.
I promise she's gonna get the sword, and I know she's gonna love it. I love it. I think it's amazing. It's sitting on my mantle right now. So
the S word.
She will get it. I promise she will get it.
That sword will.
Yeah, it's nice to hear that. This brought so many people together, from charity streams to, panel appearances to, silly voices, friendship, blah. But yeah, I guess, Steven, is there a note that maybe you want to end it on, and, maybe a story you want to tell?
I've been trying to think of one this entire time, right? Because I have a few, and I think about them all the time. My mind just wanders. It just does this, and I accept it. Because I know I can't stop it, even if I wanted to. So, I often find myself thinking on all my past experiences, my mistakes, my triumphs, my everythings. The things that really come up the most are definitely the conventions that I've been to, because it's an experience I'm never gonna have again. I don't think. Being with that many people for the common goal, or even just a few of us. Like Magic City. As much as even though there were many trials and tribulations there. It was still quite the fun time, just being with a few people. Like, it was really personal. It was fun to be out of the home and somewhere new, traveling like I've never before. Going to ALA was fucking phenomenal. That, and I think RTX were my two favorites.
Party.
Oh my god, the pool party on RTX rooftop though, like real talk. Oh my, which time? Which time? We did like 3.
Oh my god.
Yes.
But
every night was a pool party.
God, it was so fun. But also, like, one of the things that always makes me laugh is the thought of like how Cole was always asleep for at least a day of the con, like a full day of the con.
Yeah,
I was always
recorded so much video of him not being awake.
But I think the one that stuck to me.
Sounds like a joke, but it did.
No, yeah, I know. I remember these. I remember the fucking Well, okay. First of all, I can't forget my cake thing. How could I forget that? And then the other cake story from Magic City, from your friend Levi. Remember that one with Steven, the other Steven too. That one was a great cake story. The cake stories are definitely hallmarks of our con experiences.
We can't talk about them here though. We just
can't.
Know. And people will forever wonder.
Forever. What cake is it? Strawberry?
If you were there, you've been known.
You know how it really do be. But I think the one that really stuck out to me the most, I think about the most often, is ALA, because it felt like I was like, not that I didn't feel like I wasn't involved before. It's more like I have never seen this many people in a gathering for anime stuff. I've been to PAX East like 4 or 5 times, and that thing is always filled to the brim of people. That's like 3 square miles of convention center. But like I've never seen this many freaking weebs all there because they all love the same thing. Like that trivia panel, it may have been a shit show, but man, was it fun.
That was
Like
beautiful.
I loved every second of it. It was so much fun. The most fun I've ever had in public, I think. That and the other couple panels that I helped run. The Ridge panel, or no, the channel panel. But yeah, like it's like that whole experience, being in California for the first time, being west of the Mississippi for the first time. Actually, no, it's the second time. And like just being with the people I loved being with. Making friends, meeting new people, just vibing, straight vibing. Like ever since last year, I've been like craving that experience again ever since the pandemic started.
Oh, okay, but hear me out. When we were all crammed in one hotel room with way too many people playing Cards Against Humanity and having them adult drinks.
And then we had to move to the guest lounge.
Yeah, because they were
too
yelling at us. We were too loud. Cards Against Humanity is never quiet. And we had Tess hanging out with us then too, which was, I love it.
Oh, also, Levi needs to jump off, but we can probably still go a little bit longer. Okay. But if you want to say goodbye, Levi.
I was about to say, I'll give you all a thought. Katie. Closing thought.
Oh.
Wait, sorry. Oh, were you saying goodbye, Levi?
No, he's saying I'll give you all a closing thought, and then he said, Katie, closing thought.
You ruined
gave you closing thought.
The joke.
I'm so confused. Now it's Grandma Katie.
Katie, you are the joke. That's the.
It's true. I'm always the joke.
And then you really do be spitting facts. Whoosh.
All right.
I'm actually a closing thought.
Levi, we love you.
For real though, I'll give you like a sentence or so here. Always do your best. Eat your vegetables. Do what your parents says. Do your homework. Go to bed on a decent time, and keep moving forward.
Aw.
You're wonderful, great. Levi. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Levi.
Yeah,
thank you so much for coming,
Good night, everybody. It's been a wild ride.
Damn right.
Bye.
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 I just thought of another great memory.
Yeah.
It was pretty soon after Tina joined the this is definitely her story, not mine, but the video.
That was so much fun to make.
It was so much. It was so
I loved
amazing.
it. I still have it
with her when she saw it.
I still have it. I still have the reaction too.
Oh my gosh, I don't want to keep droning forever, but I'm okay with touching on that very briefly. I was going through really, really low, dark points in my life, and the project would be my hyperfixation because focusing on the project meant I didn't have to think or deal about those things that were ailing me outside of the project. And everyone came together and made this 16.5-minute long, if I recall. And
it was long.
I was so frustrated with things going on. We get to the hotel. I had called to make sure everything was set up ahead of time, and they messed up our rooms. So I'm like ready to blow because it was a Marriott and they were giving me the horrible excuses that weren't right. I worked at a Marriott, so I know how it goes. And it was somebody who's new who just messed it up. And even though there were the do not move request on the room. So I was really frustrated because all of our rooms were not where they were supposed to be. People had to walk from one building to the other because it was a multi-building property. And I was stressed. I was like, I just need to get in this hotel room and I'm going to go to the pool. Like, I don't care. I'm going to get changed. I'm going to the pool and I'm going to go relax. And they sat me down. I remember it was like Star on the bed sitting there with her laptop, just ready to make me break down and cry, and everyone else. And it was just the most beautiful, heartfelt thing that I have never had that amount of kindness, I think, from anyone in my entire life. And I don't think that there's ever going to be a moment in my life that can trump that. And it was just so impactful, and it helped me get through those really hard points because it showed me how I was surrounded by my friends who cared and supported me and were trying to get me through a really hard time. And I think they did a phenomenal job at that I can never justify. And I want to point out there was a part 2 of that I don't know if everyone was aware of. Danielle went around to my as much of my friends from the project that she knew of to get some stuff, and she put together this really nice playlist when I was, again, in a really dark place, and it was filled with these words of encouragement. And I still have that folder. It's literally like a 15, 16 page thing of all these nice, kind words of people just kind of lifting me up. And I don't think I'm ever gonna find that camaraderie with people to that degree anytime soon. And it was just wonderful. Sorry, I'm rambling. It was there's no words for it. But that video is private. It's not public,
Nope.
but it's a wonderful memory in my life. And I'm gonna Stephen, if you could send me those links, I do want to cry some more because that's just.
Also, I fact checked you. It is actually, you were right, 16 and a half minutes. The reaction's where I got the time mixed up, but the reaction's 20 minutes.
The reaction was longer. And then we all went to the pool and I didn't care. I think I swam in sweatpants in the pool or something.
All of our pool stories were my favorite. Like we had like the ball like at like midnight one night.
Yeah.
I think that was it. And like we were just running around outside and singing Ruby songs and having a pool party, man. Every con with a pool party was great. And then remember that time Lexi couldn't find Waffle House and we all clapped?
Oh my god.
Every single
You just
person.
had to bring that up.
So on the East Coast, when we would finish with a con, we do Sunday Waffle House before we all broke for the rest of the time when we had to drive home, do whatever. We were in Tennessee.
It's in one of our own,
Yeah, you were in Tennessee, I think.
It's in one of our blogs. I rewatched all the vlogs recently, and that was
Oh my gosh. We literally are all just sitting there and it's like, yo, where you at, fam? You're like, I went to the wrong Waffle House. There's only 3 of them.
I went to the wrong one twice, didn't I?
I don't know. We would literally were just sitting there laughing while we were like, when is old man Lexi gonna get here?
And then Olive Garden and Waffle House memories.
Oh my god.
You just like the Olive Garden ones because you stole breadsticks.
Okay, but remember, what con was it? Was it Magic City or was it Comic-Con when we went to Olive Garden and we had that big round table? That was Magic City. That was like my favorite Olive Garden because of that awesome waitress. She was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Comic-Con like the farthest. Comic-Con like the furthest we'd ever go was mugshots.
Dang. Yeah. Man, I miss the con. So you know what? I really, after COVID is less severe and maybe less impactful on society as a whole and maybe more people are vaccinated, we should all just go to a con together and just have that, let's just go as friends and have a good time.
Yeah.
Like everything was always work and I loved
now
it,
we can
but
be
we never
together
had a
this
break.
time around, and just vibe.
We're all in entertainment in a way. And like who knows where the roads will take us, but I'm grateful though that like this project was able to introduce so many people and we have relationships and lingering memories that we can just cherish. And going forward, like who knows, maybe we'll have another hot tub party one day.
Always.
It's magical to know that it's possible, man.
Mm-hmm.
Or even like the Dragon Con parties would we get like, let's order a bunch of chicky nuggies and have a good time.
Yes,
I did that
sounds like something Katie like.
I've still got to go to Dragon Con.
One day. Was it Magic?
It was Magic City in the lounge. You bought me chicken nuggets.
I ordered 80 chicken nuggets. And we all
did.
It was all of us and some other friends who were there at the con as well, and we just had a time. Or like, you want chicken nuggets? You get chicken nuggets and vodka. Have a good time.
Oh my god.
Oh, it was great. That was a fun time.
Yeah, that was the moral of the story is that if you ever go to cons, everybody, if you find the chicken nugget pool party, then you're doing something right.
Yeah.
And if you can live your life chasing chicken nugget pool parties in Waffle House, that was what KRWBY is summed up as. Ignore my earlier monologue. This is what it's actually about.
Chicken nugget pool parties and Waffle House and Olive Garden.
That and me arriving to panels 15 minutes late with my laptop.
Yeah.
Oh my God,
That we then swap for my laptop because it wouldn't work.
Since KRWBY is over, I'm gonna low key roast you lovingly with how every con you were still editing the episode.
Yeah.
That's why Cole was always exhausted because he was always freaking editing the video or the audio.
And for everybody out there that didn't know, it was KRWBY standard that we would still be editing at the con we were guests at.
I mean, it wasn't the standard. It's just how it would end up every time. We would literally go, it's going to be done well before the convention day of the convention of the panel. Literally 5 minutes till it starts.
I was like, James, where are you?
Yeah. There were literally... Remember? There were so many 3 a.m. sessions with Brian. That sounds bad. There were so many times
I can hear his voice.
When Brian and I had to like be messaging back and forth at 3 a.m. It's like, okay, I'm finishing the last few frames.
All right, see you in 2 hours.
I'd get the 5 a.m. message of it's done.
Yeah.
It's done.
Remember Magic City?
Yeah.
I was straight up editing videos at the table
So
on the
5 a.m.
monitors.
5 a.m.
Ironically, I think Magic City was the one con that was actually done in advance.
The single con. Ironically, for that
it would
one.
literally be 5 a.m. It's done.
Yeah,
6
that
a.m.
con.
Hang on, something was wrong. We gotta rebuild.
Yeah, it had to be for that con.
Yeah, that con.
I
Anyway.
love you guys so much. Like you guys are so wonderful. And
Yeah.
I know like there were ups and downs. Sometimes we butted heads. Sometimes it was as smooth as gravy. But you guys have changed my life. And and everyone on the project to some degree has impacted my life or changed my life. And I'm so glad for each and every person that's joined up with us on the journey, or maybe if they're not still with us on the project. Like there's just so many people and they all had a part to play. And they all just left, I think, lasting impressions and impacts on my life.
Agreed.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, I definitely know I wouldn't be where I am without all you guys. I know I wouldn't be as confident in myself without all you guys. And I wouldn't be able to experience the things I was without everyone here and everyone else who isn't here.
I wouldn't have had the support system necessary for my gender transition.
And I think we've just all grown as people. We've learned, we've made mistakes, we've advanced in our careers and our hobbies, who we are as people, how we function, how we problem solve. And I think that those are life skills that will forever follow us through life. And we can go, okay, we did this and it didn't work, or we did this and it worked. How can we do better in the future? And take that knowledge to just advance ourselves and help other people, hopefully, in our lives. But I know there's so much in the 3 years that I've been on the project that it's just, I can't put into words how much I've learned and grown and been able to speak with other members of the team and get feedback or take criticism on things and go, okay, and you know what, trying to improve from those situations and walk away always with the best part of each scenario.
Yeah,
Couldn't say it better.
Everyone that's listening for supporting us over the years and following us be silly and do these silly things that we thought we were doing in a vacuum for a while.
Yeah,
and then we saw you guys
Thanks for
watching, and
laughing
then we
at
were
our
like,
stupid voice
I
impressions.
guess we can keep doing it. Just us doing silly impressions and trying to make something fun.
And in a call with Weisford singing random
Wow,
Christmas
don't
songs.
even start.
Wow,
Jingle Bells is my favorite song, and I will always sing it better than you. And I don't even let you sing the lead, and it's like really upsetting.
Because you don't even know the words, okay?
And we fade out.
Ladies, please calm down. My goodness.
You know what? I heard Weiss ain't got no nipples, so there, I said it.
I actually have 12
what's
nipples.
interesting?
This is
I've heard that
established in the prologue.
I love you guys so much, wholeheartedly. And I hope our journeys of crossing paths, doesn't end with this project. But
I think it will.
But
and like Steven mentioned in the video that's going to come before this, so haha, meta. We're going to be having a group event in our public Discord server. We're not going to say a date yet. If we say a date, it's going to get moved back like 80 months.
Just like how when we say a call will be 30 minutes, it turns into an hour. This one.
So we hope you guys will come. We'll probably do script reads. We'll probably just tell stories.
We'll just vibe.
Because one thing we're going to try to do is keep the server up as kind of like a KRWBY memorial, kind of like a, like something for not only Ruby fans, but maybe people that, just want to remember what we had.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Fun stuff.
Yeah.
The last thing I want to say is to, whether you're on the team and you got to work behind the scenes and see what it was like. Thank you so much to those guys who were on the team and, worked with us no matter what part you played. Everyone was a wheel in the machine, if you will. And we all had that goal and that ambition to do better, to be better, to always improve and keep upping our game. And you guys were the bread and butter of I think what kept me going in some of the hardest points in my life. And then to the people who watched and supported us and left comments on videos and gave us your thoughts and feedback, anything that just, you were part of that community, you were part of that life, that KRWBY life that we had. You guys are what it was all about and what it was all around. And we just couldn't be more grateful to have such an amazing audience that wanted to support us through these years. And I know you guys are probably struggling too if you're big fans of what we've done and going, oh, this is sad, it's ending. But we're all still people that'll exist. None of us stopped existing after this project as much as we existed before. And we're gonna keep on going and doing what we love, and we hope that you guys will we'll enjoy what was and look forward to what will be from each of us in our own little parts of life if you decide to keep up with us. And that, it was really fun, and we were so glad that you guys were on this wild ride with us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and absolutely. And like, honestly, the people on the team, I mean, it was so great to work with so many amazing, talented people. And like Tina said, it's like you guys really did pull together and make this all happen. It, again, wasn't always easy, and everybody on the team knows that. It wasn't always easy to get things together on time and stuff like that. But, we all have lives at the end of the day. We all had lives outside of this. And you guys did, just such amazing work with the time that you had. Absolutely. And, everybody, that's watching, everybody that came to see us at a panel, everybody that came up to our tables at cons. I mean, it touched my heart, definitely, in a lot of different ways. And it was just incredible to share all of this with you guys, all the subscribers and everyone else. The casual observer or the subscriber, doesn't matter. Just thank you all for all the support you've given us. And I'm sorry that I couldn't, it got to a point where there were so many comments on our videos that I couldn't get to respond to all of them anymore with the KRWBY account. But thank you all so much for everything. I literally cannot say that enough. And, like Tina said, also, we're going to be moving forward with our own stuff professionally, I'm sure, most of us.
Not good.
Yeah, I mean, hey, if I have it my way, I'll be behind some live action stuff in the future, and maybe writing some stuff and voice acting is some stuff too, professionally. So we'll see what happens with that. I'm definitely looking forward to what the future has in store for me, and I'm looking forward to what the future has in store for all of us.
This project definitely wouldn't have been nearly anything like it was without everyone, who worked on it, who was watching it, who was there in one way or another, whether it was direct and indirect. It wouldn't have given all of us the motivation to move and to do all of these things that we love doing. And it's definitely something that's gonna be with us, as all of you have said, for probably the rest of our lives, I hope.
Yeah. And so we don't have to say goodbye. We can just say,
see you next time.
This is a new beginning. Yeah. See you next time. Like, we're gonna be around, and we hope that you'll join us on our journeys. Wherever they take us.
Absolutely.
And that being said, too, the server, as Katie said, it's not going anywhere for Discord, and so it's going to be, to kind of be there for what was, but also be there as new futures for the RWBY fandom, and so people can come in and share their love for the show and Rooster Teeth things as well, because that's what brought us together in the first place, was our love for RWBY and Rooster Teeth and their community. So we're just going to keep that extended family going. So don't feel like you have to say goodbye. You can still always come out, hang out, have a good time. I'm sure there'll be stuff happening in there.
Well, just so hard to choose when to end the video, I guess, because then that means
It's it. Like that's it. And it's kind of like, that can't be the last word. What if the last word is just butts?